Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from ChishaZed.
So China has officially passed a law that will essentially state the following. As a man who is in the midst of divorce, you will no longer be forced to give up half of your belongings, net worth, etc. That's right, folks. If your wifey wants to leave you because she's no longer happy, right? She has outgrown the relationship.
Right.
She can also outgrow
Graduated.
your assets. That's how that's going to work from here on out.
Right.
Damn right.
Now, I'm a believer that, you know, if a man is trifling as hell, if he's abusive, if he's laying up with any old body, that you deserve to have a little something with you.
I agree with
But
this.
it turns out that a majority of divorces that take place within the Western world are not founded on any of those things.
Nope.
And around 70% of these divorces are initiated by the wife. So imagine where divorce rates would go if all of a sudden there was no financial benefit of.
I mean, the law is pretty much just the no-fault divorce. Like that's what no-fault divorce is, or the opposite of what fault divorce is. You have to find fault to be able to leave the relationship and still take assets away.
Believe in that man. And that goes for y'all too, ladies. If you've got the bag, you keep the bag. Simple.
Now, I already know some of you guys are thinking, this is a law that we need here in the United States. Here's what's crazy. There are reports that China's definitely at a place where their divorce rates are over 50%. Not only that, there's certain places that have a higher divorce rate than that. 72+% in some areas. We're going to check out just a few comments. Then I want to move on to that second video I want to show you guys. This person here says, this should be a global rule. Another person here added, pack up, boys. We're moving to China. What do you think? Are you inspired to move to China? All right, so
I ain't moving to China. Like, as much as I can like this law, I don't like communism.
this video is insane. So the title of this video from China Observer reads, China has the highest number of single women. Again, highest number of single women. The rest of the title reads, and divorce rates, toxic advice destroys Chinese women. Let's check out this video.
It's the same thing that's happening here in the US, right? Like toxic advice. Like how many TikTok channels of women coaches and female coaches, dating coaches are just telling women, screw men.
Video. By the way, you're going to see this guy talking in Chinese, but the person, when they cut his voice out, is going to be translating what he's actually saying. Let's go.
中国的女光棍是世界最多的。
China has the highest number of single women in the world. It also has one of the highest divorce rates globally. In most cases, divorces are initiated by women. Nowhere else do women look down on men as much as in China. Nowhere
It kind of makes sense because there's so little of women compared to men in China. So, yeah.
else do women demand such high bride prices. Nowhere else do so many women abandon their husbands and children. Nowhere else do so many divorced women seek welfare partners. And most of them don't succeed. What's the reason behind this, friends? There's only one reason. Chinese women have been consuming too much toxic positivity advice. They've been told that men should earn money while women should focus on looking beautiful. That men struggle to find wives, but women never have trouble finding husbands. This so-called wisdom has left women dazed, confused and disoriented. Completely lost and disoriented. This elderly man's remarks may be extreme, but real-life cases do support some of his views.
Now, I want you guys to know something. I don't speak any language from China, right? I don't speak Mandarin, but I can understand coffee when I hear it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Brother, come on, let's go. Pay attention to this next story. This next story is crazy.
In January 2025, an online court trial video sparked widespread controversy across the Chinese internet.
As a father, you've never called your child, never cared about her life, never taken responsibility for their education. You haven't even made a single phone call in a year. You've deprived my child of a father's love.
You left.
You've taken no responsibility for this family, not even a cent as a father. You've never cared about your child's life or education.
In the 7.5-minute courtroom video, nearly 7 minutes were filled with the plaintiff, Yan Dongping, voicing her accusations. To any observer, she appeared to be a deeply wounded wife, an abandoned mother, while her husband was seemingly an irresponsible man. But a single statement from her husband, Sheng Zhubao, shattered the entire performance. I was working in Beijing. I gave you all my money without keeping a single cent for myself. Finally, the judge delivered the verdict. The couple's joint property, a car, is awarded to the plaintiff, Yan Dongping. At that moment, before the camera was turned off, Yan Dongping turned her head and smiled.
Ooh, they caught her.
A smile filled with an indescribable sense of sweetness and triumph. To many viewers, it felt as if she was looking at someone she truly loved. This scene deeply wounded her weary and honest husband, who quietly wiped away the tears at the corner of his eyes. This scene didn't just wound her husband, it struck a nerve with every viewer watching. And so, what people jokingly called the first world-famous painting of 2025, Yan Dongping's Smile, was born, ultimately making her the target of online outrage.
Wow.
As the controversy grew, the truth began to surface. When the couple first went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize their divorce, they were required to undergo a 1-month cooling-off period, a policy introduced under China's 2021 marriage law intended to promote marital stability.
Right.
But in Miss Yan's case, that month became the perfect opportunity for her to execute a carefully planned strategy. Under the pretense of achieving financial independence through an online store, she escalated her demands, stripping the father of visitation rights and even insisting that their daughter change her surname, severing all ties between them. People quickly exposed the so-called financial independence as nothing more than a sham. Miss Yan's online store was merely a business license on paper, with little to no actual revenue.
Wow. This is an evil, evil ex-wife. First off, you know that the person she was smiling to, you guys heard the story. They're doing the online type of court where you're on video and some type of a Zoom, I'm assuming. And after she gets what she wants and the husband is wiping off tears before she turns off her camera, she's so excited that she looks over, smiles, and the camera catches that smile and she turns into a meme. She goes viral and people
diabolical
start looking deeper into her story. And Young Dongping doesn't drink coffee.
No, I'll have a tea, actually.
Young Dongping is probably a 304.
The family's middle-class lifestyle, owning a home and a car in a third or fourth-tier city, was entirely built on years of her husband's hard-earned wages from working in the big city.
Wow.
This divorce case ignited a firestorm online, striking at a painful reality in China's urbanization process. Millions of left-behind families follow the same survival model, husbands working in distant cities while wives stay behind to raise children. In truth, this phenomenon stems from deeper systemic issues, including the household registration system and unequal distribution of educational resources. For many migrant workers in similar situations, the Yan case served as a wake-up call, highlighting the risks they too might one day face. The most troubling part is that the betrayer pays no price. In recent years, with the economic fallout from the pandemic, many men lost their jobs or suffered business failures. In almost every case, it was the women who quickly filed for divorce, often walking away with whatever little assets remained.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's not looking good for women globally. Globally, if you give them power, what do? Break up families. I'm sorry. This is what. Am I wrong here? And some of my.
You're not wrong, brother. This is why I like doing the reactions to reactions videos. Yes, I could have gone to China Observer and pulled the original clip, but I also don't get the conversation with ChishaZed and his thought process. You guys only get my thought process on things, and his thought process might be a little bit different.
I say it's not power. Okay, it's power and also the internet. Why? Because now you can brainwash them.
True.
Because all you need is a group somewhere and an influencer who's feeding you fake lies. Is your husband not sharing their emotional labor? Yeah. That's Ding Gong Ping, whatever her name was. Women have been falling for the same lie they fell for in the garden. You can be more than you are, and feminism is infiltrated.
Damn. ChishaZed just said it right there. Women have been lied to since the garden. that they can do better and there's more out there. Oh man, that just triggered something in my mind right now. That yeah, it's the joke of it's not enough.
A lot of countries. Shisha, it's not all women. I get it's not all women, but obviously it's most of them in China.
It's a good chunk.
And in the U.S. They've lost their minds. I know it's not
Europe, Australia.
not all women, but feminism is definitely influencing a lot of this, even over here in China.
For many men, marriage has reduced them to mere providers, financial tools discarded with no fair outcome. This has fueled growing anxiety among young men about marriage. Statistics show that over 40% of men born in the 90s and 2000s now express a fear of marriage. Cases like Yan's only deepen this fear, and she
I'm actually in that demographic.
is far from an isolated example. People have responded with bitter laughter, saying that with a single smile, Yan has pushed China's record low marriage rate even lower. No one knows exactly who that smile was meant for, but one thing is clear. It has left many men terrified. Terrified of walking away from a marriage with nothing. Terrified that one day their own wives might flash a Yan-style smile. Scrolling through social media, it's easy to find boastful statements like, I can drive, I can earn money, I can cook, so why do I need a man?
Come on,
This
guys.
certainly reflects women's independence.
Are they sure they're not in the U.S.?
But the way it's framed is a classic example of toxic positivity rhetoric, one that exposes the distorted gender perceptions shaped by the CCP state system. While official media promotes gender equality on the surface, it simultaneously allows various independent social media platforms to spread extreme feminist narratives. This false notion of women's liberation is, in reality, a betrayal of genuine gender equality. Is finding a partner only about having someone who can cook, earn money, and drive? Relationships are built on emotional connection, mutual understanding, and growing together. Things that shouldn't be overlooked. True independence should empower people to choose meaningful relationships rather than dismissing the value of companionship. Are material possessions like luxury
Agreed.
homes and cars the ultimate measure of success? Placing too much emphasis on material wealth may reflect a mindset that prioritizes external achievements over deeper fulfillment in life.
Right.
Most importantly, equating not needing a man with independence shifts away from the true meaning of gender equality and can even disrupt social harmony. This mindset is, in reality, extreme individualism and outright materialism disguised as progress.
True.
It can be seen as a toxic version of the independent woman ideal, one that has contributed to cases like Yan's. Another form of toxic positivity rhetoric is the princess syndrome narrative, often expressed as women should be beautiful and men should be the providers. This idea is misleadingly packaged as traditional virtue and widely promoted on social media. As a result, many single women possessively wait for a dominant CEO-type partner to appear, quite popular in romanticized Chinese dramas.
This really sounds like all the toxic femininity, and I do mean toxic femininity advice, has just been adopted by China. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. Like they didn't leave anything out.
Well, we talk about it, right? Women are just so easily convinced by things because it's off of emotions. You just telling them, oh, has your husband been doing this? Has he been doing this? Does he take care of you this way? And as soon as there's a no, it triggers something in their mind. Oh, he's evil. Oh, I deserve better.
They're like, what are those chicks doing? We want to do that and F up our marriages and our lives too.
Yep.
And ask the women in the U.S. what they're going through now. Ask the women in the U.S., do you feel safer when you walk the streets now that you have a generation of young people who are being raised in single mother households, aggressive men who have no fathers because you're limiting their influence? Ask them, do you feel like you have more rights? Like, how did this work out for you? How are your politics? Are your men buying into your feminist ideas, or are they leaning right? They're going to lean right. They're going to push back. It doesn't end well ever, because at the core of that message, you're making young men feel useless and not somebody who can be respected outside of what they provide monetarily.
100%, exactly what Sushi said, right? It's that respect factor. and we're reduced down to providers and ATMs, you don't respect ATMs. You don't respect these things, right? But you would respect a man, but they're not even seen as men anymore. It's just provider ATMs.
Logically, there should be plenty of wealthy CEOs fighting over me. Look at me, I was born naturally beautiful and I just don't get it.
Why are all the CEOs lined up? Why?
Someone as pretty as me, why have I waited 36 years and not a single CEO has shown up?
Yeah, this can't be real, bro. This shit's crazy. I was not expecting for this video to get this wild. It's my first time seeing this.
Some once stable families have also been torn apart by these unrealistic fantasies of happiness. Miss Hu Pei is a typical case. Her husband earned 10,000 yuan a month, enough for a comfortable life, but she became consumed by online toxic positivity narratives.
Oh, shoot.
Women should be princesses, deserve the best cosmetics and designer bags, and must have a handsome, wealthy CEO picking them up in a luxury car every day. She began to resent her current lifestyle.
I don't want to live in that rundown house anymore. I want to be like my friends, living in a nice apartment.
Looks like Mrs. Hu Pei is going to be wondering who's going to pay her bills in a little bit.
I want to be stylish, sophisticated girl. I have high standards for myself.
Girl, you're like a torta.
And I'm very picky.
With her husband, she became increasingly aggressive.
If the makeup I wear, the clothes on my back, and everything I eat and use don't come from you, then you're a complete failure as a man.
Even during mediation, her husband was still thinking about her well-being. I sought mediation because I want you to have a good life. But she responded coldly, "You're not my parents. I don't need you worrying about my marriage."
Men still love them. Like, again, even in divorce, men still love them. We still sacrifice things and we still do things for the betterment of them. Even though it's a detriment to us. We're just love-struck idiots.
In the end, Zhang Liwei could only sigh in resignation and say, "Marriage is supposed to be about sharing responsibilities equally, right? But everything that should have been shared between us, I ended up shouldering it alone, and I spoiled her into having princess syndrome." This story ultimately ended in tragedy. When the wealthy CEO Zhang Dong appeared, Hu Pei believed she had finally found the ideal life she had seen glorified online. Eager to escape what she saw as an ordinary marriage, she left without hesitation. But reality hit hard. Zhang Dong soon revealed his true colors, toying with her feelings before heartlessly abandoning her. Filled with regret, Hu Pei returned to the home she once despised, hoping to reclaim her ordinary life. But by then, Zhang Liwei had already given up on her. Today, Chinese social media and self-media
Chasing after Chads and Tyrones, CEO Chads and Tyrones, and getting ran through. Well, sounds familiar.
We're not going to just go over that story like it wasn't a glorious ending. Yes. Hu Pei needs to go get a job.
Damn
Hu
right.
Pei needs to go get a job.
loudly promote female independence while simultaneously portraying marrying into wealth as life's ultimate success. Yet those who follow these narratives often find themselves facing harsh realities,
Right.
as one veteran journalist bluntly exposed.
有的成功人士，有的富二代他一年可以换一个女朋友。
Some wealthy elites, some second-generation rich guys change girlfriends every month. Many even date multiple women at the same time. The more attractive ones might get to stay around for a few extra days, but don't even talk about women's rights in front of them. You won't even have basic human rights. Because when they've had their fun and tell you to leave, you have no choice but to go.
Exactly.
In a campus interview,
This is why I tell you guys to get good money, to be purposeful in life and stuff like that. Because when you tell women to fuck off, they can't do anything else but fuck off.
a female student confidently said,
我们女孩子
Dating doesn't come for free, right?
A sharp-witted respondent immediately pointed out the issue.
你为什么会用到免费这个词儿呢？
Why are you using the word free? Let me ask you, what kind of things in this world actually require payment? Products? What exactly are you considering yourself to be?
The most deceptive toxic
Exactly.
positivity narrative is the one about life after divorce. A matchmaker in Shenzhen put it bluntly.
网上一直流传个毒鸡汤，
There's this toxic positivity myth spreading online. Divorced women are in high demand. Single mums from a second marriage are sought after.
That's the same thing they try to change the narrative here in the United States. Oh, single mothers are the best. You're just not man enough for us.
I've been a matchmaker for a long time, and I can tell you the truth. In the real Shenzhen dating market, if you're divorced and have a son, no matter how beautiful you are, the moment men hear that, they don't even want to meet you.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better. Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better. Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Why? Because men today aren't willing to raise someone else's child anymore, especially if it's a boy. Men nowadays aren't that naive.
Some independent social media platforms have even fabricated the myth of high-quality men's clubs to mislead their audience.
离过婚的女人只能嫁给那些高质量的男人。
Divorced women can only marry high-quality men. They should never settle for ordinary men.
Hey, China might be worse off than the U.S.,
Damn,
bro.
whoa.
I'm listening to these and they took it a step further. What are you
They
talking
did.
about? Divorced women should only date high value quality men? What is going on? This dude right here is like, what do you mean?
Because ordinary men care too much about whether you've been married before or if you've had children. Your past matters to them. But in our club, elite men earning 5 to 6 million yuan a year don't mind if a woman has been divorced.
Oh,
Who's in the club? What men are in that club? I don't think there's any men in
so
that club.
they're scamming these chicks. They're probably paying into clubs and they're falling. Bro, women are lost, bro. I'm sorry. What is the conclusion? What conclusion can you come up to here?
That we can probably make something for women to cheat them out of their money about marrying rich men. How can we make this into a platform and make money off of women?
That they will fall for this. This is crazy.
To them, marriage isn't just about having kids or physical attraction. Marriage is about fulfilling dreams.
In response, a commentator angrily refuted.
几个菜把你喝成这样了，还你们俱乐部？
How much did you drink to be talking this nonsense? There is no such club. Be sure you can treat yourself like a fool tossing coins into a wishing well, thinking you'll get whatever you want. And let me ask, are there actually...
There we go, guys. We'll call it the wishing well. And they gotta toss $100 bills at us, and they can get what they wish for. Maybe.
Any big shots here making 5 or 6 million a year? Step up and comment. Is what this person is saying even true? These toxic positivity narratives are seriously distorting society's views on love and marriage. Take the
I don't think it's society. It's just women. Women are just eating this up.
widely circulated 101 things a man should do for a woman as an example. It sets unrealistic standards for love, defining actions like buying late-night snacks at 3 a.m. and traveling to various destinations as measures of devotion.
Yeah, listen, Chinese men sound like they just need a little bit of that American espresso in their system, and all this will go out the window. All this. And the difference with men is that men move based on logic, right? They'll look around, they'll talk to other men, they'll hear the information of how men in the West are dealing with this as they continue to see this coming up. And they'll be like, okay, this is what it is. Cool. Right? We're going to have to make changes. We're going to have to vote differently. We're going to have to change these laws somehow, some way.
As a result, many otherwise stable relationships have fallen apart simply because they couldn't meet these exaggerated expectations. Misleading ideas such as only foolish women wait for a man to mature and older men are better than struggling young men further warp young people's values. Why has toxic positivity become so widespread? A veteran journalist analyzed.
大家都知道紫鸡汤非常有害。
Everyone knows that toxic positivity is harmful, but many women just love listening to it.
Yep.
Let me break it down for you. First, toxic positivity usually contains a bit of truth. If it were complete nonsense, no one would listen. For example, it's true that women face challenges when they leave their family homes, they enter a new family, take care of their in-laws, raise children, endure their husband's temper, and basically become servants, and so on and so on. When women hear this, they feel overwhelmed. They think, this is so true. And they immediately hit follow for that influencer. But in reality, these narratives exist just to attract more women. Who doesn't know that women are the biggest spenders?
According to the 2024,
I always say it, man. If I made a channel that was just like the opposite of this channel and I was pandering to women all the time, I'd probably be a millionaire by now. Like literally. Because the women audience is just worth so much more than men's audience. Like I get paid like $5 something for every 1,000 views. Women's channels, they're getting paid like $15, $20 per 1,000 views. So they're making 3 times, 4 times as much as me for the exact same amount of work. But what do? They pander to women.
Social Media and Youth Values Survey report released by a sociology research institute, 76.3% of women aged 18 to 35 consume toxic positivity content daily. Among them, 45.2%.
Like that's China, and their TikTok is different from our TikTok. Now imagine the US and the way our TikTok works.
2% admitted that such content influenced their expectations of love and marriage, while 28.7% acknowledged having unrealistic fantasies as a result. Statistics from the Civil Affairs Department showed that in the first quarter of 2024, the divorce rate among people under 30 increased by 15.6% year over year. Of these divorces, 42.3% were attributed to irreconcilable values.
A smart woman wouldn't use online standards to judge her own husband because she understands that he has his own struggles too.
Right.
A good marriage takes effort from both partners. It's about working together. Listen to me. Don't be misled by toxic positivity.
Keyword, smart woman. Listen, I'm actually shocked. Like this turned into a video where I was like, okay, let me view this, analyze it, a little bit of commentary of what I think. But I ended up just kind of watching this thing along with you guys.
I always end up doing that with you guys a lot too. That's the great thing about this platform, you know, we get to watch along, then you get to hear me go, what? Because I'm just crazy.
What do you think of this? Were you aware of this? It's the first time I'm actually stumbling on this channel. You guys can go check them out, China Observer.
Now, for us on this channel, we have seen some China Observer. We've talked about the subject a little bit, that China is getting bad or just as worse as us. Because remember, they screwed up with the one-child policy thing. So their women is just so much less than the men in the population. So these women kind of have a chip on their shoulders. Their chip on their shoulders is actually bigger than the chip on the women's shoulders here because there's just so little of them. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time.